den vielleicht nicht jeder erkennt, wenn man ihn sieht, aber den so ziemlich jeder kennt, wenn man ihn hört. Er ist nämlich die legendäre Stimme von Mario, Luigi und vielen anderen aus Super Mario. Und wir begrüßen ihn mit einem tosenden Applaus. Make some noise for Charles Martinet!
Thank you very much. Hi. Dankeschön. Wien, Sie sind Nummer 1. That's all the German I speak. But I do want to say thank you all very, very much. I'm wearing the Super Mario Odyssey hat because I'm just so much in love with Super Mario Odyssey. I hope you all get a chance to play it. It's over at the Nintendo booth. And I'll swing by there too a little bit later. But I just want to say thank you so much to Reed Pop, and thank you so much for every one of you, Reed Pop, for inviting me to this great show. And to each and every one of you, because your joy and your enthusiasm and your love for the game is what gives me the opportunity and gives all of us, actors and voice talent, the chance to come and meet you and be in a wonderful place like Vienna, which I have absolutely adored. My whole life I've always loved Vienna. And not just the romantic tales, but the beauty, the architecture, the food, the people are so nice. You know, it's amazing because you walk down the street and the boulevards are full of people. But they're not stressed. They're not. It's not like I'm going there, I'm going there. You know, you go to New York or Paris or London. Those are great capitals. They're wonderful places. But when people are crowded, it's like they're going somewhere. Here, they're doing a beautiful stroll, and it's so great. So it's a thrill to be in Vienna. I've had the most wonderful meals. So my host, Reed Pop, has been absolutely magnificent with me, and Nintendo is here, which is, it's always so great to see my friends from Nintendo wherever I go. And mostly, it's wonderful to see you because your joy and your happiness and what you love about what I do is what gives me the wonderful opportunity to be here with you. So, thank you very much. That's what I have to say.
You already told me backstage what you had last night for dinner.
Yes, I did. I had
Tafelspitz.
Tafelspitz. Yippee! And the night before I had schnitzel. You know? Schnitzel. Yeah, and it was terrific. It was great. And I went to the same place both nights because every time I asked somebody where's a really great place to go, they sent me to the same place. So that was really, it was terrific. And I loved it. I'm walking, and I went to the Christmas market, and I put it on my Instagram that I went to the Rathaus Christmas market. That was totally fun. And just being here is so great. It's so much fun. You know, I'm a huge believer that every one of us should do what we love to do in life. You know, that should be our primary goal, is to do what you love to do. I never knew I wanted to be an actor. I never knew I wanted to be a voice talent. I never heard of Mario or Nintendo when I got the job, but I always wanted to be happy in doing what I love to do. And I just feel like, you know, life is so short. You get old quickly, I can promise you that. That just happens so fast. And so you should be enjoying yourself every second that you possibly can. And I really believe that if your mission in life, if you say, I want to be happy, I want to make people smile, I want to bring joy, then, you know, you may end up being an electrician, making people joyful, but you'll be doing something that's fun and joyful and happy for you. So my wish to every one of you is to live your dreams and follow your heart and expand on your passions and your joys and to have a wonderful and happy life, because life has certainly been wonderful to me, and I just wish it's that way for absolutely everybody. And I hope the children that were here, that was a pretty strong trailer that happened. Sorry about that. I thought it was going to be like a little Mario game. It was just exactly like a Mario game, but completely different. But you know, so I hope everybody wasn't scared. I was a little scared in backstage. I was like, ah! There it is. So a lot of people want to ask me a question, or I'll just tell you, I'll pretend like you asked me, how did you get the job of Mario? I'm so glad you asked.
No, actually, right now I wanted to ask, what can you tell us about your personal life? Where were you born and raised, for example? And later we talk about Mario. Don't look at me like this.
Yes. I was born. Oh, it's kind of weird. I was born in San Jose, California, which is when there was a bunch of orchards back there. The wheel hadn't been invented yet, so the roads weren't in. And, but no, it's not true. I'm not really older than the wheel. But, we moved to Spain when I was growing up. We were supposed to move to Australia. And my dad said, I don't want to live in Australia. And then they said, well, would you like to go live in Europe? And my dad said, yes. And so we ended up moving to Spain and then to France, and I went to school in England for drama school, and I just, started, I had no idea I would ever want to be an actor. I was very shy growing up. I was the most shy person, and I was at UC Berkeley studying law, pre-law, and taking classes from this marvelous English professor on the study of the nature of humankind, the nature of man being good or bad or just the social contract or how, and I loved this professor, and I decided I was going to write my thesis and do everything with this guy, and I went back for my final 2 quarters, and I couldn't get him for a class, and I did what I do. I was a brat, and I said, okay, if I can't study with the guy I want to study with, goodbye. And I left UC Berkeley, and a friend of mine called me up and said, hey, why don't you come and take an acting class for me? And I said, Les, there is absolutely no way I could ever stand in front of people. And I'm proving it today because I'm sitting. But, I said, there's no way, I'm just way too shy. And he knew me. He knew if there were 3 people in the room, I'd be the one that was disappearing. And he said, well, just come. There's a school for catering where they're teaching people to become chefs. So we'll have lunch, and then you can take my class right after lunch. Come to lunch. If you don't want to learn monologues and do that stuff, that's fine. But you can just have a nice time. That way you're doing something. And I thought, food? Well, I could go to an acting class if there was food beforehand. So he got me through my stomach, and it was a complete deception because I went to this class. We went to many lunches, and then we went to class, and they gave us a monologue. And it's like, oh boy, a monologue, And I of course he said, well, go ahead and learn the monologue, And I said, well, of course I'll learn the monologue. That's my, I'm studying. Of course, And I learned this monologue, and we started going through the monologues, and then I suddenly dawned on me. Wait a minute, this was all a trap. He's going to call on me. And I started shrinking and getting, like I was a little bit behind the furniture. When I heard every other person had gone, I heard, Charles, you're up. And I was terrified. I literally, I was like, walking up to the monologue. And then I stood there. And of course, an acting monologue, my name is Sam, I died in the fire, in a horrible death, and I'm coming back to you, whoa, and as acting monologues are. And I started doing this monologue, because I could remember, my name is Sam, I died in the fire, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm doing that, and I'm shaking, my right leg is shaking like this, literally, whoa, whoa, whoa. So I put my weight on it, and the left leg starts shaking like this. So I put my weight like this, and then they're both going like this. And I'm convinced that the audience is hearing, but I got to the end of the monologue, and my subtext was, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. But I didn't die. I didn't die. I made it to the end of the monologue. And people went, yay! And I went, oh. And they said, oh, but now, let's say, well, what's the criticism? Well, I'm amazed because you're the only person in the class that wasn't nervous. What? Literally, it was like so funny, and of course that I didn't take that as, oh boy, I'm an actor. But I started doing more classes and doing more monologues and feeling more comfortable, and then scene work. And then I auditioned for a play, Midsummer Night's Dream. And I've told this story many times before, but to play Oberon, the king of the fairies, there lies Titania some time of the night. And I love this character. And I went and I auditioned because it was our school play, our big spring school play. And I auditioned for the play, and I watched everybody else audition too. And I thought I was the best by a long shot. And I called Les and I said, Les, I think I got everybody else. He goes, don't count your chickens before they hatch. And I said, no, I was really good. I think I got this. And sure enough, I walked up to the casting board and I, la 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 la, and I looking for Charles Oberon, not Charles Martinet, but I was not cast in anything at all. And that wonderful failure to get anything of what I wanted when I thought that I deserved it was what lit the fire in me to become an actor. So suddenly, I'm taking classes, I'm reading Stanislavski, I'm doing everything I can, memorizing monologues, and then along comes Berkeley Repertory Theater, professional theater, and they audition right as this play is ending. And I go in there, and sure enough, I did the audition from Oberon against the guy that actually played Oberon, and I got the part. Yippee! And I became an actor, and I went to school for acting, did 10 years of theater, came back and was doing my little world of acting, and then I started doing corporate videos when a friend of mine called up and said, hey, you want to audition for a corporate video? I said, what's a corporate video? It's a video that's corporate. What do I do? Act. Oh, okay. And I went and I auditioned, and sure enough, I got the first 10 that I did, so suddenly I was a corporate actor. And then one day I was doing a commercial, and I'm standing there, with that American Gothic picture with the guy with the pitchfork and his wife in front of the barn, and we do that all day long, and then it ends, and the director says, well, that was great. Listen, are you a voice actor? I said, of course. What's a voice actor? And he goes, well, just great, then just read the script. And I said, fortunes are buy hardware, the right item at the right price, right now. And I got paid an equal amount for doing that, of spending 9 hours under the hot lights. And I said suddenly, I'm a voice actor, yippee! And so I started being a voice actor. And then I'm sitting on the beach doing what actors do, reading a book and waiting for the phone to ring. And the phone rings. And it's a friend of mine. He says, hey, you should go crash this audition for a job in Las Vegas. And I said, there is absolutely no way I would ever crash an audition. I am a professional actor. I could not, where should I go? And I have no idea why, but I left the beach. I drove to downtown San Francisco. I found a parking space, an immense accomplishment for me. And I walked in the door, and I was walking in, the producer's walking out. I'm like, oh, wait, that's a camera bag. Hi, can I read for this? He goes, oh, all right, come on in. All right, look, you're an Italian plumber from Brooklyn. For this company called Nintendo, and his name is Mario, and we're going to have a real-time animation system, and we're going to glue these things to your face, and you're going to talk, and as you talk, the cartoon character is supposed to move at the same time. We have no idea if this is going to work or not, but I'm not going to pay you to drink coffee all day, so make up a voice, make up a video game, start talking, make up whatever you want, and when you run out of things to say, that's your audition. And I thought to myself, Italian plumber from Brooklyn. Hey, get out of my face, I'm waking you. What do you want from me? And I thought, well, maybe I wouldn't do something like that. Maybe I should do something nicer. So I thought, I played Gremio in a Shakespeare play. Nice Italian guy, talk like this. I thought, I'll do that, but I'll make him younger and a little bit more, how you doing? Oh, yes, nice to see you. And I thought, I'll make him younger. But I know absolutely nothing about video games. Nothing do I know about that. I know waka 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 waka. I know, that boom boom, and that's remember Space Invaders? And I was terrible at that. So I'm like, and I don't want to make up a game. I guess I'll talk about food. It's a common theme in my life, as you can tell. And I'm sitting there going, just make things up, and I hear action, and I go, hello, I'm a Mario. Hey, let's make a pizza pie together. You will get some sausage, I get some spaghetti. You put spaghetti and sausage in the pizza, and then I'm chasing you with the pizza. If I catch you with the pizza, you're gonna eat the pizza, and then we're gonna make a pizza, and you're gonna chase me with the pizza, and if you catch me with the pizza, I'm gonna eat the pizza. And I'm thinking to myself, That's probably enough. But he doesn't say cut or thank you or anything. And he did say, don't stop till you run out of things to say. So I thought, and then we're gonna make a lasagna. And I'm gonna make lasagna and taste you with lasagna. When I catch you with lasagna, you'll eat lasagna. And I finish out, nothing. And then we're gonna make a spaghetti meatballs. I'm gonna chase the meatballs up the hill and then roll the hill meatball down there. And I just kept going and going and going and going because my brain was going, don't stop until you run out of things to say. And I kept going and going and going. Lasagna, tortellini, spaghetti, meatballs, and until I finally heard, stop talking. Cut. There's no more tape. Thank you. We'll be in touch. And I thought, you know, for me, that's the kiss of death. That's it. That's to an actor. That means there's the door. Don't let it hit you on your way out. So I went back to the beach. I watched my little sunset, and I read my little book. And I thought, well, that was kind of fun. And the phone rings, and it's like this producer. He goes, all right, you're our Mario. He only sent my tape up to Nintendo, and he called me up and says, he called them and said, I found our Mario. I got him. And I was the only person, apparently, who never stopped talking. Everybody else was, hey, my name is Luigi and Mario, I'm number one and you're my number one pal, and what do you think about life? You mean something like that? And as soon as they would break character, that would be the end of it. And so I just followed directions. But I also had so much
a lot of dishes when it comes to food.
Yeah, I know a lot about food. I know, except how to pronounce, what's it called?
Tafelspitze. Was this the moment when you discovered your talent for accents and dialects?
No, you know, my whole life I never thought I would be an actor, but I knew one thing. I loved to make my mother laugh. And you know, there was this Jackie Gleason show back when the TV sets were made out of stone, you know, and we used to watch them back when I was a kid. And there was this guy, Crazy Gilman, and he said, hey, Joe, hello, Mr. Donahue. And I used to do that voice and my mom would laugh, you know. And then I started doing accents and dialects from different countries and just having fun and being silly and making my mom laugh. And that was the only connection to acting that I ever thought could possibly involve me. I just had no idea. But, you know, I will say something too in relationship to shyness and timidness and being a performer is, you know, when you're afraid of something that's not really, like obviously jumping out of a plane is something to be worried about. Don't do that, you know. But if you're afraid of speaking and you fight your fear by going through it, eventually you realize that it's just a fear and you can get beyond it. And shyness is the same thing. Timidness is the same thing. Is that you can overcome that by giving yourself the opportunity to go into it and through it, you know, and that's another thing that I encourage. And it's really hard. People are apparently afraid of speaking in public. Like death is number one, speaking is number two in public, you know, and in America paying taxes. But that's another story. But you know, it's like it is just this dreadful fear. But if you can be gentle with yourself, be loving with yourself. Do it in a self-respecting way. Don't, you know, I'm going to jump in front of the class and scream. But, you know, to challenge yourself a little bit, to go through those things that make you afraid in life. And you really discover that so oftentimes they're Luigi ghosts. They're not the real ones that are dangerous, you know. You know, they're not that terrifying. It's just terrifying in your mind, you know. So you can eventually you conquer that sort of fear, and that's a good thing.
How many accents can you do?
I don't know. You know, it's an interesting thing. You know, I can't do Dutch. You know, the Dutch is like really, yeah. I just, you know, it's really hard for me. You know, but I, you know, of course, a Frenchman, you can do any entendu, or the Spanish man, he's very easy. You know, you put on a personality, and the key always for me when you do it,
what about Austrian?
You know, I don't think I can do Austrian German. I don't think I can.
You have to sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Hello there, how are you? And that's not how people sound. And you know, I think the thing is, it's an interesting thing about. I was reading something in the paper this morning. Accents and dialects can be considered offensive if it's done in an offensive way. And I think I've always been very fortunate that whenever I do an accent or a dialect, it's out of the character joy and fun and happiness. It's never intended to be hurtful. So I'm always very careful that I do things in my life and in my acting work that are on the upside and on the positive side of human nature. Even the villains that I do, you know, I dropped it again, you know, that sort of thing. It's like, it's all silly and fun.
How did the Super Mario franchise change your life?
How did the Super Mario franchise change my life? Well, you know, thank you for asking that. I had done so many acting jobs, at least 1,500 acting jobs. And you know, because there were just so many commercials. I did radio and TV commercials and so many things. I never moved to Hollywood because I loved being next to my family, who was in San Francisco. And back in those days, you couldn't plug a microphone into a cell phone and do a broadcast commercial, but I can do that today from a hotel room. In fact, I sent a client in Australia something yesterday morning, you know, in the microphone, you know. I call it the Under the Cover Production Company because I put pillows underneath the covers and a microphone, and I put everything over my head, so you can't hear somebody cleaning in the hallway, you can't hear the birds out in the street, and I, you know, say, hello, you know, I'm a Mario, let's go, you know, and it's quality, marvelous quality, so technology's come. But I decided I didn't want to move to Los Angeles. I just stayed up north.
You told me that you've already been to about 25 conventions this year. Yeah?
Yes, I've been to a lot of conventions.
How do you like that?
I love conventions. I think particularly, you know, this convention, it's so marvelous to be in a place where people can dress up to their favorite character, explore the passion and joy of, like, you know, being the comedian in the dinosaur outfit or doing something they love. And it's a marvelous opportunity because, at least in America, as I know, it's harder to meet people when you're an adult. Once you leave university, it's like, you know, you go to work and what do you want to do, you know? You can't make all your friends your work people too, you know? But it's a wonderful chance for people to meet people who share the passion. You look at cosplay, which I love, and you see people doing the same cosplay or a similar character cosplay. They get to meet each other and get to know each other, like, or electronic gaming or anime or sci-fi, and it's so, I think they're actually wonderful. And I hear the most marvelous comments. People come to me and say, you're the voice of my childhood and I grew up with you, and it's really great. And now I'm hearing, you know, I used to play with my granddad, now I'm playing with my grandchildren, and that gets a little bit much. I'm joking, that's not really happening yet.
You also have a background in theatre.
Yes.
Could you share it with us?
To be or not to be. Yes, well, you know, I went to acting school in London after I did my work a year and a half at Berkeley Rep, and I came back to America and I started doing theater, and I had the most wonderful opportunities to play great, fun characters. I got to play Tartuffe in Moliere's Tartuffe. I got to play The Flea in Her Ear, the lead three characters in that play. So I always found myself gravitating towards the boffo silly, which is, obviously, that's my life. You know, we did this one Gremio and Taming of the Shrew, but we did this adaptation where it was 1947 Italy after the war, and Petruchio was a GI from America that went back to Italy to find a wife, and I was Gremio, the mayor of this town, and they just did this amazing, I love theater because they can make €1 go about 7,000 euros deep. It looks like a marble staircase, and it's made out of plywood and paint splattering, you know, that they got from the recycling center, you know. It was so amazing. And we had these big marble balls that were beach balls that were paint splattered. So of course, as soon as the show was over, whack! Bouncing the beach balls all over the place. So theater was a lot of fun, but it was a tough way to make a living because you can't make a lot of money doing theater, but you can follow your heart and keep doing what you love, and you know, you become an actor. And it just, I always say live consciously, but I've always been so fortunate. It's just been one gift after the next, you know. Even once I got the Mario job, you know, it's like, oh boy, I get to play Mario. And then one day I come in and it's like, here's this character Wario, we want to do Mario in real time. Mario in real time, we call him Mert. All of a sudden there was Wirt, you know, like, and it's like, well, put a voice to him, like, Yeah, he's grumpy all the time. He's angry. Oh, have a rough day. Yeah, that's it. Do that. You know, and then one day I go into the studio and there's Luigi, and then one day there's Luigi, and then the babies, and it's just been one wonderful gift after another. So my gratitude is always there with Nintendo. And when I come to these shows and I get to meet people and hear that what I do, which is what I love to do, brings a smile to you, that's just, honestly, it's the most wonderfully gratifying, lovely experience. So I really do thank you all from the bottom of my heart, because it's really a great, great privilege.
I would suggest it's time for some questions and answers.
Sure.
Who wants to be the first one? Who has a question?
My question is, what's your favorite character of Super Mario Odyssey?
Oh, my favorite character? Well, it's Super Mario! Yahoo! I love this game, and I take my Nintendo Switch with me wherever I go. And I'm not very good. Usually in a Mario game, I can figure out that the princess is not in this castle. That much I learned. I learned it once or twice sometimes. And in this game, I love taking my Switch with me, and I was on the plane coming from China over here Monday. And you know, there's those round snowball guys, and you have to do that mini race where you're bouncing, and you got to bounce off the walls. And I was getting 5th place, and 5th place, and 3rd place, and 5th place. And I thought, I'll never beat these guys. I'll never be able to make it to the next level. And all of a sudden, I just went boom, boom, boom. I rolled more and I bounced more, and all of a sudden, the last 2 bounces, I passed the last 3 characters all at once, and I came in 1st place, and I went, woohoo! In the plane. I mean, it was a little, I was like, what are you gonna do? But it's so much fun. And when I play, honestly, I go, I can really do that. So Mario Kart is an adventure. Thank you for asking.
Hi, who is your favorite Mario character?
My favorite Mario character? That's a very good question. It's Super Mario! I love that voice and I love that character because he represents total optimism, joy, happiness, fun, the ability to face a challenge with, let's go! Oh, yucky, here we go! And go for it. And I admire that so much. I'm much more like Luigi. I'm the second born. I'm much more timid, a lot more afraid of stepping into something, whereas my brother just runs straight through the plate glass window if he wants to get the ball outside, I'm more trepidatious. I'm also taller than my brother, and I from being a younger brother, I run a lot faster than he is. And I jump higher. But I love Mario. And I love them all, For me, it's so great to be a performer because you just pretend. It's what you do for a living is you pretend. And people call you up and they say, you want to come and pretend and be in our sandbox with us and play? And you go, yeah, when? It's so lovely. That's why I don't know whether, obviously not everybody can be a performer, but when you do something that you love to do, it's trying to say it's not work, but it's really, it adds a certain level of joy and fun to things. And that's what I always wish for everybody is find that fun, whether it's, if you love travel, and maybe you'll be a travel writer, or maybe you'll just land in Indonesia and go, this Jakarta is where I've always wanted to be. You just never know, or someone will say, hey, come and teach English as a second language, or come and teach German in our school. And suddenly you're doing that, and it's like, well, my only mission was to be happy, but here I am in Jakarta teaching German. I love this, I don't know if that answers your question. I like you make Mario the best. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm Judith. I'm from South Tyrol. And I wanted to ask if you play any other games, like Pokemon, maybe?
Do you know, I really only play Mario, thank you for asking. I really only play Mario games, because I barely have time to do that. It's amazing how much there is to do in life, So for me, I focus on Mario. I played Zelda games, and I go to conventions and I'll play a Zelda game, or I'll play a little Pokemon, but it's just for a few minutes, just to have fun. And it's so cute and it's so fun, so I do. And I've got Mario Run on my phone, and I've got, Pokemon Go on my phone, and sometimes I like, let's see what I can find here, It's fun. Yeah. Thank you for that question.
By the way, she's Italian. She's from South Tyrol. She's Italian.
That's so great. Mamma mia. So German and Italian, that's so great. I love Europe. One day I'm going to live in Europe again because I so love it. You're like 1 hour flight from different food, culture, art, history, language. It's just so great. I'm sorry everybody speaks English, but thank goodness you all do. When I was a kid living in Europe, nobody spoke English. And even if they spoke English, they didn't speak English. So you had to learn. Because as a child, it's like, I want water. Agua, por favor. Oh, here's water. Yippee! And so you were forced to learn, Wasser bitte. Ein Glas Wasser bitte. Okay, here you go. And nowadays it's too easy to speak English because everybody does. It doesn't force you. Like cell phones. Cell phones make it easy and they're really great. But then you realize, like when I was a kid, if you wanted somebody's phone number, you memorized it, or you wrote it in your address book, but then you lose your address book, and you better remember it. So you had to memorize everything. You had to write cursive, and that sort of like adds a certain level of challenge, a challenge of intention. Like if you wanted to go see somebody, you went and saw them. You didn't like, hey, how you doing? Fine, how are you? Want to go to lunch? No, let's just talk here. Okay, fine. It was a different life back in the Stone Age.
Okay, next one.
I'm not really a dinosaur. Hello. But I throw my hat on them all the time.
Hello, my name is Danny Hassel. I'm living here in Vienna, and I want just to ask you, also work on other games, do voice of order with figures, and I wanted to ask, how was that for you?
Oh, it's always fun. I really, truly, for me, anytime if somebody calls me up and says, hey, come and do a voiceover for a plumbing service, I'm like, yippee! I'm so happy because I love to do it. It's like somebody saying, come and play in our sandbox. We've got new toys. You can bring your toys. We can have fun, like, and that's what I do. I go in there and I have fun. So, I did Parthenax in Skyrim, what brings you to the throat of the world? And it's like you go, oh boy, that's fun, It's just fun to do things like that. And Bit Trip Runner 3, which I think is coming out this month on Nintendo Switch. And it's like, you just go and have fun. And so that's what I love so much is every piece of work I do is a wonderful gift, There are people in the world who they really work hard, and have really stressful lives. All my stress is self-induced, so and that's why I wish that also for people. It's like, it's so easy to be stressed in life.
I was wondering if you have ever had a situation where someone comes up to you and says, you sound like Mario.
Thank you for asking that. I think, I really do sound like Mario when I talk like him. And people often say, aha, I got it, I get that. But it's my gray hair. I put this on in the morning so I look distinguished. People come up to me all the time and it's like, hello, are you Charles Martinet? I go, yes, I am. I said, can I take a picture? Uh-oh, hello?
Take mine.
Hello?
Take mine.
Hello? Oh, wait, it's me. Came back.
Okay.
Hello? So they come out and they say, take a picture. So I take a picture and it's like very sweet, to be recognized like that. But it's a wonderful selective thing too, because in an environment like this, so many people know who I am. But then I walk out the door to downtown Vienna and it's like, get out of the way, you're too tall, So that's lovely, I often think, what would it be like if everybody knew you? And everywhere you went, people were like, oh, so that, yeah, I do sound a little bit like
A few days ago, we heard that Vienna was voted the second most impolite city in the world.
Impolite?
Yeah.
Really? Well, I have to tell you, I had a confrontation with the law while I was
Ich hab's
here.
jetzt aber schon gelesen, oder? Yeah, I mean, it was in all media.
I think that's crazy because I think people here are so sweet and so nice. Every experience I've had has been great. And I even almost broke the law and got punished the other day. Because you know, I mean, you get in the little tube, the subway, and you know, it's like, in America, when you buy a subway ticket, which you don't very often because everybody drives a car, you know, but it's stamped automatically, and then you put it in the machine when you're leaving, and it either takes it or, you know, gives it back to you, you know, and here, you buy the ticket, and then you validate it, and then you get on the train. And the first train ride I went, it says journey, and I thought that meant going there and coming back. So I walked up to a train station guy, and I said, is this like a journey like 2 ways, or just 1 way? He goes, you didn't stamp your ticket. You didn't validate it. I said, no, I don't know how to do that. But is this good for one? It's only good for 1 day. And you have to pay a fine if you don't validate this. You must validate this right away. I said, okay, I'll go validate it. You know, find the blue machine. And then the next ride I went into Karlsplatz. And I validated the ticket. But I put it in my pocket and I couldn't find it, and all of a sudden there are like 8 agents there. Where is your ticket? And I'm like, and I kept looking and looking and looking, and she gave me this look like, we caught you, and you're gonna pay. And I'm like, listen, I'll show you my Visa receipt. That's not good enough. I can show you on my phone that I have the foreign transaction charge from less than 15 minutes ago. That doesn't matter. You could have given that ticket to somebody else, and maybe they're going out. And I'm like, oh, come on. Do I look like a criminal to you? And just when I was about to get that €100 fine, I looked in my coin pocket, and there was my ticket. I said, ah! So I was free. I didn't spend the night in prison.
And what was her reaction?
She was like, oh. And that was it. That was it.
Probably she was disappointed. Huh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she had her chance to nail me. But I got away.
Okay, next question.
Hello, I'm Alex from St. Britain. Which was the first game you gave your voice for?
The very first game ever, or the very first Mario game? Mario game. Because the very first games I was doing were for little memory chips and things. It was like Tank Death or something like that it was called. And I had to die 100 different ways going, you know, but there was no memory that way. I said, okay, now you get shot in the head. You know, oh, that's too long, because there's not enough memory. Yeah, that's better, you know? So that was, and the first Nintendo game I did, I was doing a consumer electronics show, doing Mario in real time. And a guy there, Phil, called me up and said, hey, do you mind going to a studio and doing some voices for us for a game called Punch-Out? And I said, sure. And I went and I did like 15 characters in Punch-Out, you know, and this corner, wait a minute, you know, and I did that. So, but then one day, well, I did Mario Teaches Typing, but that was sort of, you know, in Mario Hotel or something like that. And then one day I got a phone call, Mr. Miyamoto would like you to play Mario in a Nintendo game. And I said, yippee! And that was 1995 or 1996 that we actually recorded Mario 64. The first sort of real, I guess they call it a sandbox game, where you get to run around and explore and do your own things. You're not like go from A to B to C to D, rescue the princess, but you go and explore. And then that was such a great experience, and that's why I love Odyssey so much, is you can just keep playing and running around and having fun and sunshine too. But of course I love every game, so.
Okay, actually this should be the last question.
No, wait. Now? Already?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I talk too much.
Hello, Martin from Budapest, Hungary. And this is rather a request than a question. Could you please do the sound of Mario when he falls?
One more.
Sure, one more. And let me just say, honestly, I find that people here are absolutely wonderful and kind and gracious and considerate and thoughtful and very, very nice.
So Vienna's not so bad.
Oh my gosh, no. It's
okay, we take this as a compliment.
It's just a world-class city. And honestly, you know, I just love all these Christmas markets, but then just people walking in the street enjoying being alive. Because being alive is the greatest gift, and we all have it. and it's short. So it's so great to see people just enjoying being.
I got another question, and this is: did you ever got a prank call or something?
Did I ever?
A prank call.
Oh, did I ever do a prank call? No. You know, it's a great question, and it's very doable. But you know, I view this relationship of me with the character as something that's almost sacred. You know, so I would never take advantage. I also view humanity as somewhat sacred, so I wouldn't do something to risk that relationship where it could go the wrong way. I'm always happy to say, "Mamma mia, you're number one," or "Here we go." But I would never use it to try to get something or do something that might go wrong or make somebody feel not good. So, you know, I'm very clear that way, and I think too, when you get to do something, someone gives you a gift, it's your sort of heart's duty to keep that sacred, so I always do. But thank you very much for asking. And at the same time, it would be so funny to do that, you know, "Hello, I'd like a pizza," you know, that would be so much fun. But I just don't want to ever do something and have someone go, what are you doing, you know? So I'm very careful. But thank you very much. Thank you for that question, and thank you everybody.
Thank you for all your questions, and mille grazie, Charles Martinet. One more time, please for Charles Martinet.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Come by and see me. I'm at my autograph table, but we do autographs, and we're doing photographs too, and it'd be lovely to see you. So, thank you very much.